No one likes ugly aircon grills above their joinery. So today we are going to be showing how we build these really cool timber HVAC grills. My name is Charlie. I run a cabinet making business in Melbourne where we focus on complex 6 and 7 figure joinery packages for single residential projects. We are going to be going through why timber grills can be tricky, how we went about solving it, the result that we arrived at, and what we learned in that process. Let's get started. So we know that HVAC units often live above joinery, say above a robe in a bedroom, and they need a grill to supply and to return air. With wood grain cabinet finishes especially, we often want a nice timber grill above the joinery as opposed to a linear grill or a flangeless metal grill. And for those timber grills, we have developed a system that you might be able to apply on your next project. If you want to access this document, you can click the link in the description or on the pinned comment down below. So here is the problem. Timber grills, they look best when they are flangeless. If they have a border around them or a frame, it can be quite ugly. But if there is no frame around the grill, how do we connect it together? Is it with this pink magic thread that we have drawn? Probably not. And beyond that, how do we then fit that grill off to the cabinetry? How does it actually connect to the carcass, and how does it sit in relation to the aircon unit and the cabinet door? And so this is the thought process we went through when designing this grill. We thought, what if we had a structure behind the vertical timber battens? It would still need to be flangeless, it would need to hold the battens together, and we would attach the backing to the cabinetry. So it would need to address the three problems that we've outlined. The timber grills that are often used on hydronic floor heating grills have this rubberized rod that goes through every single batten. We thought that could work, but the structure would be too weak. If it's going to a floor, it can sit into the floor and it can be floppy when it's out, but when it's up vertical, it's very hard to keep it all flush with the cabinetry. So then we thought, okay, well, to keep everything really strong, we could have a full solid backing behind each vertical batten. But the problem there is that it would block airflow and it would be visible when you look through the battens. So this is how we solved it. This is where we arrived in the end. We did have a solid backing, but we did big cutouts in it. We used 18 or 19 mil thick veneer board or wood grain laminate, whatever material you're using. And we machined these grooves into that backing for vertical battens to knock into. Now the battens themselves, they can either be left raw and polished and stained together with the backing if it's a raw veneer. In the case of this grill that's shown on the picture, this is a pre-finished timber veneer. So we had to get the battens polished before we had them knocked in. We put a little bit of glue in each of these slots, we knock them in, and then when we flip the grill over, we can put nails in on the back as well for some extra reinforcement. For transport, we can screw that solid back onto the grill, so a temporary solid back, and that braces the grill for transport, make sure none of the battens flex or fall out. And to solve the installation problem, we have this little detail here. So this is our grill in section view, and we use this lamello biscuit to clamp the grill into these cleats that sit on top of the cupboard and up to the ceiling. And the result looks something like this. Now, in a future video, we will need to go through this HVAC access panel detail, but essentially it's a door at the top of the cupboard that will flap open so that a technician can come into the back of the unit and change the filters or perform any other servicing that's needed on those units. That is the solution, and we have here some example shop drawings just showing that's our grill backing, and these are the battens that are knocked in to our little rebates. So we have some shop drawings here that hopefully provide some broader context, and again, you can access them via the link. You would have seen the backing piece on the grill isn't solid all the way through. So we have these cutouts here, but it is solid halfway, say for example on this grill, to add some extra support. If it was just a big, massive cutout, it would flex too much. The battens, when you're knocking them in, would actually stretch the grill backing outer square, and that would create other problems for us. So as a compromise, we had to do that. Speaking of compromise, here are the problems with this design. Number one, it's very labor intensive. It takes a long time to machine all those little rebates into the backing, and there are lots of battens to individually machine. You have to cut them to the right length, you have to sand them, bevel them, prep them before they get knocked into the grills. The other issue is that these grills aren't so easily removable. Yes, you can unclip them or unscrew them from the cleats that we use to attach them to the cabinets, but you run the risk of twisting the battens and they might come loose and whatnot. So that's why it's really important to have alternative access for servicing. And like I mentioned before, there are some visible sections on the back because we can't do the cutouts all the way through. This section you can see between these three battens is solid. You can't see the black all the way through. But that is just a little compromise to make sure that the grill is nice and strong. So did we achieve our goal? The finished grill is a flangeless look. There's no border around the battens. It is structurally sound because we've added additional support where we need to have it. It's glued in, it's pinned in, and it's buildable as well as serving the right function that we need it to serve, which is to allow air to come in and for air to come out, the supply and the return air. Finally, this can be easily clipped on and attached to the cabinetry, which presents less risk on site. On to what we learned in this process. I think for me, the biggest thing is that it has reinforced that our job is to find the solution. We are not allowed to put our hands up and say that can't be done until we've had a really good think about the problem. And we need to make sure that the solution we come up with satisfies the design intent first and foremost, because our job is here to deliver on the architect's vision. But we also need to perform our supporting role and make sure that the cabinetry or the detail, the solution, is buildable and offers functionality for the customer. It also reinforced for me the importance of testing and prototyping. We made a full prototype grill with the exact material, the battens polished in the black color to make sure that it was going to work. Because when we can't guarantee an outcome on paper, on 3D modeling, on thinking, on past experience, prototyping is a way to manage that risk. And managing that risk helps us provide certainty in the design outcome. That's all we have today. Thanks so much for your time, but our time today doesn't have to come to an end here. You can, if you wish, click onto the next video. Take care.